Hey guys, and welcome to one more episode of Builder Nation. For today's agenda, we have Kiva Allgood, President, CEO, and board member at Sarcos, a company bringing industrial robotics and exoskeletons to life. So welcome, Kiva. I'm super excited to have you here today.
Thank you, Elisa. Super nice to be here. Yeah, so Kiva Allgood, I'm President and CEO of Sarcos Robotics Technology Corporation. We are headquartered in Salt Lake City, but have offices in Pittsburgh as well. We're almost 300 strong, predominantly, engineers, people really leading at the forefront of robotics technology. So I have been part of Sarcos's, family since we invested when I was at GE, so a little over 6 years, and have watched the company grow and was super excited to step in as CEO last December. And we're now on the path to really launch our 3 flagship products. We have an exoskeleton, which is what it sounds like. It's a product that people can get into that helps them really recover from lifting capability, the ability to lift a lot more than you could without the exoskeleton. It also protects and allows people to stay in roles for a lot longer. So a lot of the jobs, if you think about riveting or construction work, it's really hard on the joints. So our exoskeleton protects them. And then we have 2 teleoperated products. We have the Guardian XT, which is really focused on performing tasks at height. And then we have the Guardian or the Sapient product, which does the same. It's a single arm solution. So we also have a subsea product that gets to explore underneath boats in the ocean floor, also with highly dexterous hands. So we differentiate ourselves because we work in an unstructured environment, construction sites, things at airports, ports, they change every day, and our robots perform tasks with human-like dexterity there.
I have seen the videos that you guys have on the website and on YouTube, and I think it's impressive. Like, I cannot believe that we have come to the point of that kind of technology, that we're building extra skeletons. I think it's incredible. But I'm curious to ask you, like, I know that you have a background in business and administration, so why Sarcos? Why were you interested, first of all, in robotics?
Yeah, well, actually, I am a science person by nature. I grew up as a science geek. I was part of the science, Olympiad team in high school. It's always been a passion of mine. It's kind of where I've always gravitated towards. Started my career off as an IT consultant, launching some of the first. So I'd say, I've really had a career of, uncharted territories. I launched one of the first online banking platforms and products that then kind of grew from there. First ERP integrations for virtual across some of the largest retail industries, and then transitioned into cellular and participated as a software lead and technology lead with the launch of the first CDMA phone. So I'd say I'm a technologist first, and then became a business person. Pretty early in my career, I had someone say, hey, if you really want to lead a large team, you want to run a business, you need to understand the sales cycle, not just the product and development cycle, and spent a considerable amount of time managing some large retail accounts. And that was when I kind of got the itch for really liking that full circle, really understanding what it was to understand that life cycle of a product all the way from inception to sale to growth, and really kind of double down there. But I'd say at the heart of it, I love those tough problems, the technical problems to solve. And robots are kind of at the epicenter of that. If you think about a robot, it brings all of the engineering disciplines together. It won't work without software. It won't work without hardware. And it's the fact that you've also seen a lot of kind of the Moore's law effect come into play. We went from being hydraulic to electronic, and it's been all the evolution in the battery technology that has allowed us to get to where we are. Sensor technology, link technology, all of those riding that curve, both on capability, price, performance, that has enabled us to be able to launch our products now.
But I'm curious to ask you, like, how was the process of, first of all, like the prototype, building the prototype, and then like throwing all of the robotics robotics into the market, especially this specific kind of robotics that is exoskeletons?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because exoskeletons have been around for a very long time. Sarcos has been around for 35 years. So we started our journey with our founders in unique ways. If you go to Walt Disney World, you'll see some of our robots on all the rides. If you go to Vegas, you'll see our robots there. And it's the human-like dexterity piece that our founders really focused on. And that's unique. Unlike our competitors that are on the top floor, that get permanently mounted, that repeat a task a million times a day, we have to approach the situation very much like a human. So if you're going up to an aircraft and you're trying to perform a task with human-like dexterity, you need that human in the loop, and that's important. But we're also in the process of taking our AI and machine learning technology and advancing the ability for these highly dexterous robots in really diverse environments to be able to repeat a task. So what I mean by that is that the human is in the loop. It says, hey, I'd like you to do this like this with human-like dexterity, and we're going to hit the repeat button. And we now have the capability to really lean into those new use cases, because people are, the number one pain point we're hearing from a lot of our partners is, I can't get enough people. Like, I can't hire enough people. And one of the industries that we're working with, the average age is for skilled labor is 55 years old, and they're not able to recruit new talent. Clearly, managing a robot, being a teleoperator of a fleet of robots is a little more appealing to the younger generation than, cutting trees around a power line. So we're leaning into those use cases and really trying to apply the technology in new places and spaces.
Wow. And were you surprised at the beginning of the kind of customers that you guys were reaching to?
A little bit. I mean, again, I started my career with a large company, GE, and transitioned. So I know a lot of the pain points. Obviously, I did a second tour of duty there in GE Ventures, and we were investing in a lot of companies that really helped to automate these really difficult tasks. So I feel like I know the space. I've spent time in a factory as a supply chain head of supply chain and master black belt, and those pain points are real. And so I think automation is going to play a key part of that, but it's going to be, for us, we look at it as supervised autonomy. So it's when you need the human eye to say, yep, I need to go there, because it doesn't look the same every time you approach it. And that's where we're really, really unique. And that's where I'd say the complexity of our modeling and complexity of our software system really comes into play.
Okay. And I know that you have, you mentioned the Guardian XO or something, that you have two main products. Those, I saw the videos, but I did not see any kind of wires. Does it work by battery, or does it have a power source, or how does that work?
Yeah, great question. That's been one of the biggest advancements. So if you think about robotics in general, you started off where everything was tethered, where everything was hydraulic, and we've really ridden that technology curve to now we're battery operated, so that we can go into those constrained environments, and we're tether free.
Okay. And what will you say it has been, maybe for you, I know that you have been almost a year in the company, but what will you say it has been maybe the biggest technical challenge that you guys have managed to solve, or that are currently solving?
Yeah, well, we've got a few. Definitely on the exoskeleton, one of the challenges is human gait is really, ask anybody who works in robotics, it's a hard thing to solve, right? And so we've been working really hard on stability. So the ability for the exoskeleton to right itself. So if it gets bumped into with a human inside, or with no one inside, that it has the ability to go, oop, I'm going to stand still. So the team was able to effectively put that software solution in play at the end of last year. So that was a huge milestone for us on the XO. We're also in the process of a weight reduction with the XO as well. On the XT and the Sapient, it's the ability to do that supervised autonomy. So the ability to teach it a task and then say, repeat that. So those are two very, I would say, unique to Sarcos technical milestones over the last year.
Okay. And if I can ask that, how long did it take you guys in order to build the first prototype?
Yeah, well, we have prototypes of all of our products right now, so they're being tested. We actually just completed a big test in the Port Humane right near Ventura, California. There's some great videos online called RepTech, so highly encourage you to take a look. It really showcases almost all of our products. The part of that was super fun was these are mission oriented, right? In the sense that you get in field and they don't tell you exactly what they're going to ask you to do. So you have to be ready for just about anything. So obviously we had some pre-planned scenarios, but now they're asking us to do new tasks, whole tools that we've never held before. And these aren't small tools. So when you're cleaning the side of a ship and taking all of the material off of it, these are laser ablation tools. These are, scalers. So they stake a lot, they vibrate a lot, they have really unique handles. And so really excited that they threw a whole bunch of stuff at us across the board, and we were able to perform both above the line, so both on the ship itself, and then also below the line with our subsea product. So we have product out that's currently in field and testing, and our goal, the sooner people start to use our product, the more we'll learn, and then be able to integrate that feedback into the product. So that's been a big part of how we've designed all of our products. We're doubling down in 3 really specific places. The tarmac of the future, so everything around aviation, helping flights take off during electrical storms because humans aren't allowed on the tarmac is a good example. In a port, so think about anything about shipbuilding, ship maintenance, and then anything at height. So like I mentioned, it's dangerous when you put a human inside of a truck and you lift them up and now they're doing their work. So we've really leaned into those 3 segments.
Okay, wow. And how was the integration with the human? Like the very first integration that you ever watched? Were you shocked or surprised by watching a human like getting inside the exoskeleton?
I'd say that, I'm always, I say seeing is believing. I say this often, like never have I ever had anybody come to our Salt Lake City or Pittsburgh office and say, wow, that wasn't the coolest thing I've ever done. So to be honest with you, seeing truly is believing, because you can watch a video, but until you get into our facility, and we recently had the Salt Lake City mayor in our Salt Lake City office, and on live, coverage with cameras around, she's like, can I try the XT? And we said, sure. And she was nervous, because she was like, what if I can't operate it properly? She got at it within seconds. She was dancing and getting it to move. It is that intuitive. And so that is our goal. Like I said, where we truly differentiate from a technological perspective and a technological advancement perspective is that human-like dexterity, the ability to perform tasks just like a human would.
Okay, wow, that's incredible. I mean,
it's super fun.
It looks super fun. I mean, and yeah. I can imagine. I was telling Katie, like, I can imagine how your everyday is like being a woman, especially in the industry, being the CEO, being the board member. How it has been your experience at this company? Like,
well, I am super thankful that I have a amazing board. So our board is compiled of industry experts, super insightful. They share our passion for our mission to keep people out of harm's way. And so in that regard, I have a really good sounding board, really good mentors and coaches. I also have a partner in our executive chair who understands the space, and our co-founders. We also acquired a company called RE Squared and closed that transaction in April. And with that, I got a great partner in their former CEO, Jorgen Pedersen, who was one of the first graduates out of Carnegie Mellon with a robotics master's. And so we really have, the foundational folks that are the godfathers of this industry that understand kind of what needs to be done in order to productize and bring these products to market. So I'd say I've got a really solid foundation and a really good partnership to take on, this role. And for me, it's what I love doing. Focused on culture. So we've really spent a lot of time and developed a cultural ambassador team, which is a group of cross-functional folks that helped write our guiding principles and what our cultural principles are. And that's how we recruit. And so we make sure that we're hiring brilliant minds, but brilliant minds that fit in with our mission statement.
Okay. Oh, that's great. I think that is really important to have good culture and a good environment in order to build a company. And I'm pretty sure that I know that you have that on mind totally. But I mean, you mentioned earlier how hard it was. You mentioned the supply chain. Did you have any problems when it came to the pandemic? Maybe supply chain, talking about the procurement, especially because you are both hardware and software.
Yeah, we're not immune. We're also not a large enough procurer of certain components. So we had to be creative. We had to redesign some things. We also, did a lot of pre-purchasing to ensure that we could get our initial product units out. So we're definitely feeling the pain on the electronic components. Some of those products are now 15 months out. So we've really worked hard though to make sure that we were doing pre-purchasing so that we could meet our initial what we're calling product ready units and get those into market and get those tested. So we've leaned into that, but it's definitely impacted our ability to expand the portfolio as quickly as we'd like, be able to go into other segments, because we have to prioritize those initial production units. I'd say the other place where we've been a little bit surprised is things like anodizing. So never had a real issue with anodizing, but because of the steel constraints and supply constraints that have been impacting a lot of auto manufacturers, they're impacting us, because now the shops that were working with us, that volume's going to other folks. So getting things machined at high quality, because again, we're kind of pushing the envelope with a lot of our designs. So we have complex machine parts, and the capacity there has been taken over by others too, because people can't go offshore as much. So that's definitely been another area where we've had some surprises.
But I mean, just like any other company in the industry, I mean, supply chain has been a small problem after the pandemic, and it's still up to date, right?
Yeah, no, you're 100% correct, because again, I said we've tried to be creative. We've changed some designs and to use more COTS or commodity-like products versus customized solutions, and we've tried to make sure that we're not single sourced in certain things. But when you're pushing the technological envelope, when you're really being the first to bring something very unique to the market, you have some additional constraints than someone who has a kind of commercial product today. So, we have a new, not new, but, part of my leadership team are folks that come from the industry that have, supply chain and production backgrounds. And we've been leaning into, contract manufacturing as well. So more to come on all of those fronts.
More to come on that. Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
And I mean, what can we expect for us, the future, I don't know, the future engineers, the people who are listening to us? What can we expect to see out of Sarcos in the next, let's say, next year?
Yeah, well, it's going to be the commercialization of our Guardian XT and our Sapient product, doubling down on the software components and software structure there too, and continuing to advance the industry. I mean, our goal is, one of our guiding principles is to ensure that, the work that we do every single day has a positive impact on the world. And so we firmly believe that by, enabling technology that takes people out of harm's way, gets them out of that bucket, we're delivering on that mission.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I can't wait to see the Guardian out in the market. I think it's going to be amazing, and it's going to be a really big change for the industry, because you guys are doing what no one else is. So I think
Thank you.
That's amazing.
It's a very complex system, but it's super fun to watch. Every day is a fun day.
I'm pretty sure it is. It looks extra complicated, but I mean, just like you're mentioning, like being inside of the exoskeleton, I'm pretty sure you have been into it, right?
Well, we're in the process actually. So previously you had to be over a certain height, and now we just have executed that's one of the other major milestones we hit this year. It's height adjustable. I'm short statured, so let's just say I barely make 5'2" with heels on. So I now can fit inside.
Well, maybe in the future you can, guys, I mean, I'm talking really lightly, right? But let's say that, I don't know, in the next five years, you guys develop a new one that it doesn't require like a specific height. So maybe. that
Well,
can
we
be.
know that the next gen, it is adjustable. But our one of our number one operators is Tara. She's a female, and she rocks it. She's great.
I'm glad. Guys, I hope that you maybe launch a video where we can see it. I think that would be amazing.
Yeah, a good idea. Yeah, great idea.
Hopefully soon. And last but not least, I wanted to ask you, do you have like any advice for future entrepreneurs, maybe women in the industry?
Yeah, the best advice I can give to women in the industry is, believe in yourself. So I mentor a lot of women. And not too long ago, I had a great friend who had this brilliant idea to do a startup, but she's like, I don't know if I'm ready to be a CEO. And I'm like, you're ready. Like, you just need to try, and surround yourself with folks that will lift you up, and will believe in you and will advocate for you, and also will be honest with you. So I think, one of the things that I did early in my career is make sure I had people who weren't just my friends, that really cared enough and cared deeply enough to give me the honest truth on what I was doing well, how I could improve things I wasn't aware of. So, find that person who's going to be your honest ally.
Amazing. Thank you for the advice. Really, really motivational. Thank you so much, Kiva.
You bet.
And
thank you.
For being here and sharing your experience. Do you have any social media handle? I know that we have the website, but where can people find you? Where can we follow you?
Yeah, LinkedIn. So that's the best place to look across the board.
Okay, that's great. And remember, guys, that you can also find more information, interesting articles, interesting interviews directly on our website, controlhub.com/builder-nation. We would love to hear from you. And once again, Kiva, this was amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences, your perspective. As CEO in the industry, about the company, this was amazing. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you. Appreciate the conversation.